In today's video, we'll be going through the 10 biggest mistakes I've seen new and returning players make in 7 Days to Die and how to avoid them. I've played 7 Days to Die for a few years now, and time again I see the same mistakes from my friends and YouTubers, or even myself when new or returning to the game. These mistakes are in no particular order, and these are most important to remember in the first week of your game. Fixing these mistakes in your game can and will make your survival experience much easier, so let's get straight into it. Mistake number 1 is playing like it's Minecraft. What do I mean by that? Well, Minecraft, Rust and other survival sandbox games have a heavy focus on mining the natural environment for resources. Now obviously you can do this in 7 Days to Die, but here's why you should avoid doing it, and also when I personally think that it's worth gathering this stuff. So when you first start out and get yourself a stone axe, you may be inclined to start mining away at any stone outcroppings you find. This clip demonstrates how awful that tactic is when you first start out. So what should you be doing to get resources instead? Scavenging. Humanity has already spent thousands of years mining the earth for resources for you, unlike in Minecraft, so instead of mashing at stone for a minute to get 60 stone, find a POI. That's a point of interest. Look for the following 3 blocks: stone bricks, blue covered cobblestone, and bags of cement. Compare the stone bricks, which give you 50 stone in 11 seconds and are found in large quantities, to the stone outcroppings that give 60 in just over a minute and are dotted across the countryside. You can see why you want to stick with the stone bricks. Mine the bricks with a stone axe or pickaxe, dig the cement and cobblestone with a shovel. So when should you start mining the natural environment? In my opinion, the best time to start doing this is when you have a good pickaxe and several points invested into Miner 69er and Motherlode. At that point it starts being much more viable as a source of resources. But what about iron? Mistake number 2, not scrapping enough items. So in the last tip I told you not to bother with natural resources, which may have left you with a big question: what if I need iron or other metals? The answer is scrap, and scrap some more. When you're out looting, you'll run into lots of stuff you can scrap for iron, which will give you a much better yield than smacking away at an iron ore deposit. There are too many items which scrap down to iron to go through in this single video, but experiment with things and see what turns into iron in your inventory. Just pick up everything you find, scrap it, and then add it to the massive pile of iron you'll accumulate using this tip. Also, on the topic of scrapping, make sure to get a wrench and absolutely destroy anything that seems complex. So things like sinks, refrigerators and cars. These will yield high amounts of resources, as well as components that can be used to make some very useful things like mini bikes and crafting stations. Well, we're talking about mini bikes. Mistake number 3 is walking or sprinting across the map. The maps in 7 Days to Die can get pretty big and you don't have much stamina. Instead of wasting your stamina, food and time, prioritise getting a vehicle as soon as possible. You might ask, which vehicle? The minibike. Now while the bicycle may be easier to make, it's very slow, it has limited storage space, and most importantly it still uses your stamina. The minibike, however, is a fantastic vehicle for the early weeks of your game. It comes with 27 extra slots of inventory, it moves at 15 meters per second, which is a lot faster than you are, and it is extremely fuel efficient. If you want to go further than a couple of houses, the minibike will save you so much time and stamina getting there. So how do you get a minibike quickly, I hear you cry in despair? Well, as it turns out, I have a video about just that. Click the annotation in the top right if you're interested. If you're still here, let's move on to mistake 4. Mistake number 4 is not specialising your skills. When new players get skill points, they all seem to do one thing, and that's spread them across several abilities and thus wasting the potential of more important skills. For example, a lot of people like to spend their first 4 skill points you get from the tutorial on healing factor, sexual tyrannosaurus, rule 1 cardio, and pain tolerance. These 4 skills are all fantastic, but you're not going to benefit from making such a general build early on. I recommend focusing on an attribute, particularly strength or intellect, and really getting those skills up quickly to make sure that rather than be a jack of all trades, you are a beast at what you specialise in. As a side note, don't spread your perks across conflicting weapon choices in the early game. So don't unlock Pummel Pete and Skull Crusher, because rather than being good at one, you're just making sure that you're bad with both. Pick one and stick with it, and stop wasting skills on things like archery if 90% of your combat is done with sledgehammers. Speaking of blunt tools for getting through things, I don't have a segue to the next mistake. Mistake number 5 is not clearing this junk when you see it. These little piles of flotsam and jetsam make a lot of noise when you walk over them, alerting the entire house full of angry dead people and making them even angrier. Such bad hosts leaving junk around and then attacking you when you step in it. How do you clear it? Well, you hit it with a tool. Hitting this junk with a stone axe or something makes much less noise than actually walking over it. Just sneak, hit the trash. Of course, if you do step in junk, it's not the end of the world to have all the zombies come to you. Mistake number 6. Not killing enough zombies. In 7 Days to Die, your loot is directly tied to your game stage, which is directly tied to your level. One of the most effective ways to level is to kill every single zombie you see. If you're not killing literally at least 50 zombies a day, you're not doing it right. If you want more info about how your level affects looting and other ways to improve your loot, click the annotation on the top right for a video dedicated to just that. Speaking of ham-fisted marketing, mistake number 7 is not using the traders properly. In 7 Days to Die, there are multiple traders spread throughout the map. The things they sell are often much better than anything you can loot at your current game stage. For example, you can buy a gun from a trader straight off the bat, before they even appear in your loot stage. Also, the quests that traders give are a nice source of XP, and particularly the buried treasure missions can be vital for finding a source of food in the early game. As a bonus mistake, players don't use the vending machines at these traders enough. They sell food and extremely powerful food items like eye candy, sugar butts, and rock crushers. By the way, if you're enjoying the video and are learning new things, please leave a like, it helps me out a lot and lets me know that you want to see more content like this. Back to the mistakes, we have mistake number 8, cowering in your base at night in the early game. In 7 Days to Die, zombies can run at night. That's it. In the early game, you don't have to worry about roaming hordes or screamers, so if you're not a little bitch and can handle enemies moving 35% faster than during the day, why hide in your base for 6 hours when you could just keep looting? It's not like your character needs sleep. Just be more aware of your escape routes while doing this, as the zombies will be more able to swarm you at night. Mistake number 9 is not separating your work base from your horde base. In the event your 7th day ends badly and your base gets ripped to shreds and you die, you don't want to spawn back in that base, nor do you want to lose all of your storage and crafting equipment. Instead, maintain a base for crafting, storage and respawning. For this, I recommend clearing a POI, putting down your land climb block and fortifying it just in case you get attacked. And also maintaining a horde base specifically designed for surviving the horde nights, with much tougher walls, smarter defences, and most importantly, nothing to lose on the inside. Mistake number 10 is setting up your base way too far away from good loot areas. Time is the biggest enemy in 7 Days to Die, not zombies. When the day starts, you don't want to have to spend 3 hours getting somewhere just to start looting. Instead, find a town, find a house in that town, clear it, set down your land claim block, and use that as your home at least for the first week. Make sure to build your horde base relatively nearby. This will save you so much time having to go back and forth from looting areas to your home base every day, and at the end of the first week you'll have saved at least an hour in real life by not having to go miles to find loot. That's it guys, the 10 mistakes I see beginners make. If you enjoyed or learned something new, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you have any tips for new players, leave them down in the comments below. But for now guys, this is the end. Thanks for watching, see ya.